It sounds like a bad idea, but doing this to a man could make him love you like never before. And I'm not talking about buying him gifts, complimenting him more, or being extra sweet. No, this is something that on the surface almost feels wrong. Something most women avoid because they think it might push him away, when in reality, it could make him chase you harder than ever. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of all time, believed there is a hidden trigger inside a man's mind, a place he guards more than his secrets, his money, or even his feelings. Touch this one thing the right way, and you'll see him light up with a new kind of desire. Touch it the wrong way, and the connection can collapse instantly. The strange thing is, almost no one talks about it. Most people in relationships spend all their time trying to make their partner feel safe, secure, and comfortable. But Jung's research suggested that too much comfort can actually kill attraction. That the real spark, the one that makes him think about you nonstop, comes from a certain type of emotional tension. And the part of him you need to reach, it's not his mind, not his heart, and not even his wallet. It's something far more personal, far more primal. And once you understand it, you'll realize why this bad idea works so well. But here's the thing, I'm not going to just blurt it out, because to really understand why it works, and how to use it without ever hurting him for real, you need the full picture. So if you want the complete truth, you have to watch until the very end. Here is what most women don't to realize. Every man has an invisible line between who he is to the world and who he is when he's with you. Out there, he can be confident, respected, even admired. But in private, there is a different kind of power he wants to feel. A power that's tied to his identity as a man on the most intimate level. Carl Jung believed that deep in the male psyche, there is something that is not just about attraction, not just about love, but about validation. When this part of him is lit up, he doesn't just feel connected, he feels alive, like you see a side of him no one else can touch. The irony? It's also his most fragile point. That means if you gently challenge it, instead of always protecting it, you spark a wave of emotion he can't ignore. It's a mix of pride, desire, and even a little fear of losing you. And that cocktail is addictive. But here's where it gets tricky. Push too hard, and he'll shut down. Do it the wrong way, and he'll take it as an insult instead of a spark. This is why I'm warning you. This bad idea only works if you understand exactly what you're tapping into. And we're getting close to naming it. But before I do, you need to understand why it's so powerful, and why Jung believed it could completely change the way a man loves you. So here is the truth most people never talk about. The hidden trigger Carl Jung hinted at has a name, and it's what psychologists today call a man's sexual ego. It's not just about his performance in bed. It's the way he measures his desirability as a man. The pride he takes in making you feel wanted, desired, and completely drawn to him. It's the quiet belief that, in your eyes, he's still the one who excites you, the one who can make your heart race without even trying. When you protect this ego too much, you give him comfort, but you also take away the thrill. When you lightly challenge it, you stir something deeper. You make him want to prove himself to you all over again. Suddenly, he's paying more attention, putting in more effort, showing more passion, because that part of him that says, I am enough for her, is now awake and hungry for your validation. But here's where most people go wrong. They crush it instead of nudging it. They attack instead of teasing. That's when a man's walls go up, and instead of chasing you, he pulls away. Jung believed that when a man's sexual ego is handled with care, it can transform love from something ordinary into something electric. But to do it right, you have to know the exact moves that keep the spark alive without crossing the line. And that's exactly what I'm about to show you. Now that you understand what a man's sexual ego really is, the question becomes, how do you touch it without breaking it? The answer lies in a balance of playfulness, subtle withdrawal, and selective praise. The first step is to stop giving him constant reassurance. If he's used to hearing "you're amazing" every single time, your words start losing power. Instead, choose moments when he's truly earned it. Moments when he's put in the effort, when he's gone out of his way, when he's brought out that spark in you. This makes your approval rare and incredibly valuable. The second step is playful teasing. This isn't about insults or hurting him. It's about creating a light challenge. Maybe you jokingly say, "That's cute, but I've seen better," with a smile that tells him you're still completely into him. That little flicker of competition makes him want to rise to the occasion. The third step, and this is where most women stop too soon, is brief, intentional distance. Not ignoring him entirely, but giving him just enough space to wonder what's on your mind. It plants a quiet question in his head. Am I still winning her over? And that question fuels the effort, the attention, and the passion. But here's the thing. These are just the surface moves. They work, but there's one final layer that turns all of this from mild curiosity into absolute obsession. And that's what I'm revealing at the end, because without it, you'll only get half the result. Here's the part I promised you, the final layer that makes everything work like magic. It's this: you have to let him win you back, even when he already has you. A man's sexual ego doesn't just thrive on admiration. It thrives on the chase. But the mistake most women make is thinking the chase ends once the relationship is secure. In reality, the most deeply connected men are the ones who feel like they are still earning you, even years later. So after you've given him space, after you've teased him just enough, you must give him the moment of victory. Show him, without words, that his effort lit you up. That look in your eyes, that sudden softness in your voice, that physical closeness you give only when he's truly stepped up. That is his reward. That's what seals it. It's the emotional rhythm of challenge and reward that keeps his sexual ego alive. Too much challenge without reward, and he feels rejected. Too much reward without challenge, and he gets complacent. But when you balance both, you create the kind of pull that makes him think about you constantly, fight for your attention, and love you with the same intensity he did at the very start, sometimes even more. And that's why what sounded like a bad idea in the beginning turns out to be one of the most powerful tools you can use to keep a man's love burning. So now you see, it's not about manipulating him or playing games. It's about understanding the part of him that makes him feel like a man, and feeding it in a way that keeps your connection alive. When you know how to lightly challenge his sexual ego, you give him the space to desire you more, the reason to show up for you, and the fire to keep proving himself long after the honeymoon phase is over. The truth is, men don't just fall in love once. They fall in love over and over, each time they feel like they've truly won your heart again. And when you master this balance of challenge and reward, you re-giving him a reason to keep falling, deeper than before. If you found this insight eye-opening, remember, it's only one piece of what we share here. There's so much more about love, attraction, and connection that can change the way you see relationships forever. So if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, one little shift in how you understand each other can change everything.